Hello, Joe Kazdasu, coming to you live from Euroboor USA, just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. I'm actually in the tool repair area here at Euroboor USA. Today, I wanted to kind of show you how and why, but more importantly, how you would use a drill chuck, or what's commonly referred to as a Jacobs chuck, with the Euroboor drill. So Euroboor has many different drills to fit all of your applications, but we also have all of the different adapters that you're going to need to do your different jobs. And specifically today, we're going to talk about the Jacobs chuck and adapting to the Jacobs chuck for the various drills. I've got three different drills here: the Eco 40, S Plus, the 32, and the 55. So this has got your standard Weldon shank adapter or chuck on it. So does the 32, but it does have a way to change it and work with the Jacobs chuck. And then also the tapered adapter here, the number 3 Morse taper in the 55. So I'm going to give you an idea of what adapters you would use depending on what drill you're using in order to make that Jacobs chuck functional with that drill. So the first thing we have is we have two different Jacobs chucks. Both of these Jacobs chucks are 1/2 inch size. You can see that one is kind of threaded on the inside and one is got a taper on the inside. So I've got this little adapter here. So these adapters are going to have the same Weldon shank as a drill as the annular cutter does. So just like your annular cutter goes up in here, you would take these. This one is going to, it's going to have a press fit. So it's got a little taper on it, but it presses in there. Once you press that in there, it's not coming out. It's a very tight pressed fit. It won't twist, won't come out. I'm not going to push it in because I won't be able to get it out. This one is threaded, so this one's got a 1/2 inch fine thread on the back side of it, and you would just thread your chuck onto the end of it, and then you could take this Jacobs chuck and put it into this spindle. It'll go right into this spindle. It'll go up in there just like an annular cutter does. But once you get this in here, and let me get it in there where it'll hold in, and you go to put a, let's say, a 1/2 inch jobber drill. So I've got a set of Euroboor bits here. Euroboor does have high-speed steel, the black and gold high-speed steel, and then also cobalt bits. Also, the Euroboor bits do have a flat on them, so it's going to give you a lot more secure hold. But you can see, if you look over at this drill, it's not going to really go in there, right? I mean, even if I were to take the drill and twist it back and put that bit up in there, you can see it's not even sitting down, so you can't even magnetize it. So doesn't give you enough stroke, even though this Eco 40 has much more stroke than anybody else's drill out there. It's got, over 4 inches of stroke on it, so you can, or I'm sorry, over 3 inches of stroke on it, so you can use up to a 3-inch annular cutter. You're not going to be able to use a 1/2 inch bit, even though you have a 1/2 inch Jacobs chuck on there. And you can use a smaller one, so I mean, obviously you could put a little small drill bit in there, and it's going to be just fine. So that's where you would really use this type adapter. The advantage of using that quick adapter like that is you can quickly go in and out of here and go from an annular cutter to your Jacobs chuck very quickly. So that's the advantage of that. It's just intended for your smaller, shorter jobber drills. And then you're going to run into the same problem over here. And even if you use this in your Morse taper, which this drill over here has, I believe it's 5 11/16 inches of stroke, so it's got over 5 inches of stroke, it's still not going to be enough. If I put this in here, you can see it's still not enough to go in there. So it's just not quite enough. If I put this in here and then try to put the drill bit in, you can see it doesn't sit flat. So that drill still is not sitting flat. You can see how it's up high. But what we can do, we do have other adapters. If you're using these 6-inch bits, this bit's probably about 6 inches long. It's a standard 1/2 inch jobber drill. We do have other adapters, and I'll show you those, that are going to make that a lot easier. So this drill in particular, it's got this shank on here that is removable, and you can put this shank, and you can see that this shank has the same threaded portion that this one did. So you would just thread your 1/2-inch chuck straight onto this shank, and then you take a couple of wrenches and you put them on these flats. So this is a 21 millimeter and a 19 millimeter. You put it on this flat and you break it. I've already got it broken just for time's sake. And then you can unthread this. So you see me unthreading this adapter here, and then you pull it out. So I've pulled that out. That's your standard Weldon flat. I'm going to pull off the coolant ring. So this is what puts the coolant down through your annular cutter. I'm going to pull that off, set it aside, and then I'm going to take my new adapter with the Jacobs chuck on it. I'm going to slide it up in there, and I'm going to thread it on. And once I get this thing threaded all the way on, you'll see how much more stroke you do have with it, giving you a whole lot more stroke. Put your 1/2-inch bit in here, and you can see now you have enough room to drill. You can see this I can tighten it up, hold it up here, but you can see that you've got enough room to drill with a 1/2-inch bit now. The disadvantage would be, in order to go back to using an annular cutter, you'd have to reverse what I just showed you. So basically take this shank adapter out here and put your other one back in. So now, as far as the 55 or any of our Morse taper drills, the Morse taper drill is going to give you a little bit more versatility with that Morse taper. You could obviously put a Morse taper drill straight up in it. So you would just take this Morse taper out. This is your Weldon flat, right? So your annular cutter would go up into this adapter. But this has a Morse taper. This particular drill has a number 3 Morse taper. Depending on what drill you get, you could end up with a Morse 2, Morse 3, or our larger drills are going to have a Morse 4, which is going to dictate the size of this. So I've got a couple of other adapters here, and you can see I've got 3 different in my hand right here. So these 2 right here are both number 2 Morse tapers, and this one is a number 3 Morse taper. And then if you look at the other side of it, so this one has your tapered in, so that you could again take your tapered chuck and press fit it on there if that's what you prefer. This one has the threaded side, so you can thread it on just like you saw me doing earlier. And then this one has a threaded side as well. So this is the number 3 Morse taper with the threaded side versus the number 2 Morse taper. So you just need to know what Morse taper you have on your drill. It will show you that on the Euroboor website or in the catalog. I've got this one, so this number 3 Morse taper, just to save time, I've already got it here. I've already got the chuck threaded onto it. And you can see it goes straight up in there. Just use a little rubber mallet. Tap it up in there. And now you can see your 1/2-inch drill bit. And look how much more stroke you have here with this drill. So easily can hold a jobber drill in this drill here. So hopefully that helps you out today. I know we kind of got a little long-winded. But if you have any questions, contact your local Euroboor rep. Contact Euroboor. We'll certainly walk you through what adapters you need to make your drill work with your Jacobs chuck. God bless.